If you're having suicidal thoughts or feelings or feel like you have no hope, please call 988. There, you can talk to someone who not only cares about your story, but cares about you. Please reach out today. Thomas P. Murphy once said, "Minutes are worth more than money. Spend them wisely." At Minutes Wisely, we take that to heart. Our mission is to decrease veteran suicide by providing life-changing experiences for veterans, first responders, and Gold Star families. We believe that we can make a lasting impact by rekindling a sense of purpose and fostering community through sponsored tickets to sporting events. These experiences are not just about the game, they're about the moments that can change lives. A simple sporting event can boost joy and instill a sense of renewed hope and purpose for those who have served. Join us in making a difference. Become a moment maker and empower a veteran with rediscovered hope. Visit minuteswisely.com for more information and to get involved. Together, we can make every moment count.
Thing ever.
It is. That's pretty fucking Navy.
What's up, fellas?
Hey, can you turn your mic up a little bit, Fleek? My tinnitus is
Huh?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I know it's gonna be a loud show, Fleek.
Little bit, just a little bit.
A little bit. Ah, that's better.
All right. So, welcome back to another episode of TSP. Today we're here with Tommy Richardson. How you doing, sir?
Doing great. Yourself?
Oh, I'm doing awesome. See, the only really thing I have is September 11th. Minutes Wisely is hosting their second annual golf outing, the Corporal Diaz Memorial. If you're in Tennessee or you want to be in Tennessee, and you love veterans and you love golf and drinking beer and whatever,
I'll be there.
with this.
I'm signing up for a team, man.
Oh, yeah.
And so Fleek, that was really short. Usually you
that's all
are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm a little tired, man. I still don't think I'm all the way back from my my surgery and stuff. So.
Tommy, yeah, because we were supposed to interview you like 2 weeks ago. This guy, he beat cancer. So I guess, yeah. Shit, Fleek, I'm sorry, man.
Well, it's been long enough. Why aren't you better?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You got to bring the heat, dude.
What's up, dude?
I'm trying, man, but I get winded fast.
Well,
I'm not going to get into personal information, but I'll ask all the questions ever. I'm interested.
Yeah.
And then a year or so ago, if Berger could have showed up as commandant, that'd be cool.
He's the one. Well, and Berger, I love him. I've met him. I shook his hand, but I'm a little confused because in 2021 he took us away. He took our colors and he put them in some kind of a thing that looks like a penis, never to be shown again. And I'm sad.
He took the snipers away too, and I don't understand that either. But
and the tanks.
Tanks. I don't know. I'm just glad that warthogs are still flying. I know they're not ours, but I'm really glad. But it's one of those things too, and the size of I heard the platoons shrunk also. But it's one of those things where it's like, all right, we don't know the pressures that he's getting from higher, right? We don't know what's happening globally within the Marine Corps. All you can talk about is from this teensy little niche that we had. So things have evolved, things have changed. So it could have been a positive change. I don't know. I can't speak on that, man. All I can know is that it kind of hurts my heart to see things go.
But you know what? There's this meme out there that I've seen. It's got our 3A symbol, and it's in a box with a glass. Break glass in case of war. So and Tommy, you guys don't know this, but Tommy is my senior. I'm a boot to him, and I'm a boot to Fleek too.
Everybody's mate to somebody, man.
Tommy is he's a Haiti Marine, and I looked up to all those Haiti Marines. Those guys were some badass motherfuckers, like the Slam Pigs, War Pigs.
Those are fun.
Him right here.
That was good times, man.
Like Bashard, Miller, Casey. I mean, he hung out with those Siler, Stigell, hang out with this guy. Okay, and when I got there, I got to 3-8, December 17th, 2005, right after SOI. Just like I had graduated 2 hours before, they bust us over from Geiger, and then Santiago, Staff Sergeant, and Modesto, Staff Sergeant, they welcomed us into the fold. We became the boots. Nobody was there because those motherfuckers were all on leave from Haiti.
Yeah, because we got sent on Alpha Increment because we only had like a couple of months turnaround before going to Fallujah. And it was, and the thing is, we just gotten off a 9 month
Yeah.
Okinawa, or I say
Yeah.
Okinawa was all a Paycom because we had the Korea op
With
and we had
Herrera,
the
yeah.
Philippines. We had
Herrera
Philippines.
was there too, right?
Yeah,
In Okinawa.
yeah.
Oh, okay, Herrera, that's a different story. Love the motherfucker, love him. But like, yeah, I got there, and there's like maybe 5 people back in the rear. There's Scythe, there's Casey, there's Stigell, and I'm drinking with these guys, and I'm like, oh, shooting the shit. They're treating me like a normal human, human being. Then you guys get back and forget about it. We're fucking done. All of us start dying slowly.
Yeah.
Once these guys get back, they murder us. Green pubs, sand pubs, people sitting in the middle of the quad in a chair reciting the infantry fucking Bible. Like, I was like,
6-5, man. We learned
I'm,
a lot, dude. It was honestly it was a good warm up for Iraq. We learned
was
so
great.
much, and we knew that we didn't have a fast turnaround with you new guys. So we had to instill as much as we could in you guys to get you dialed in, based off of what we just learned and some of the new SOPs that we were switching around, and the
Dude.
fact that we were going into something new with the support and stability
Yeah.
operations over there.
Well, hey, sorry. I mean, this is your show. I know we could talk forever, but Tommy,
Yeah,
Mr.
man.
Richardson,
Yeah.
could you please introduce yourself, and thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, Tommy Richardson, man. I'm an owner of the Divine Savagery currently. Just got done with wrapping up almost 27 years serving in the military, 9 and change in the Marine infantry, and 17 and change in the SEAL teams. So I did my duty, served the country, and happy and loved every second of it, man. Good, bad, ugly, didn't matter. It was all wonderful. And now I'm just taking everything that I learned, wrapping it up into a ball and throwing it back out at the public, and doing it in the form of, if it's motivational speaking, if it's mindset, if it's heart set, if it's whatever you need, I got for you. You know what I'm saying? So doing the public speaking events, doing the business optimization and leadership. And also, I kind of found a niche in strength. So wellness also is a thing. Doing the strength coaching, developing strength programming for folks, and tailoring up their programs if they need it. Whether it be, hey, I'm going to go to the Center for Excellence for the Marine Corps Physical Fitness, and just introducing some new stuff from them, taking everything that I've done, learned in the Marine Corps, learned from the SEAL teams, and then also learned in my new venture, working and being an athlete with Westside Barbell, and merging all of that stuff into hopefully producing someone that doesn't have as much, or takes their bumps, bruises, and owies, and they can feel a little bit better, because, nobody ever came out of anything saying, man, I wish I was weaker,
That was Fleek. That was a pretty fucking crazy elevator speech, man. Jesus
That
Christ.
was.
That was pretty good.
I tried,
I
man.
mean,
It's one of those things. It's one of those things where I try to do the Ace Ventura thing of just go.
Dude, you did that in like 3 minutes. Jocko,
Yeah.
you should go work at Echelon Front with Jocko.
I'd rather beat him.
Do you
Hell
know
yeah.
him? Do you know Jocko?
So I met Jocko a couple of times when he was still in. He got brought in during the pilot course. They did the platoon leaders course, or kind of like the infantry unit leaders course, but they did that in the SEAL teams, and they did it for platoon commanders and platoon chiefs. And they brought Jocko in, and he spoke at several events there, and did some leadership training for us. And that's when I first met him. And I saw him around the compound a little bit in Coronado, and then I shipped off to the East Coast, and kind of lost touch or whatever. But that was kind of like my only interaction with him.
Hey, Tommy,
So where are
did
you
you
from, Tommy?
leave the Marine
Where are you
Corps?
from?
Hey, hold on a second.
One at a time.
Oh,
Did you leave?
sorry.
Did you leave the Marine Corps to join the SEALs?
Yep, sure did. Yeah, I was gonna do the force recon bit, but it didn't quite work out, and it was one of those things. I took a B billet to SOI, and while I was there, I was training and getting ready to go, and it took the whole process took about the 2 years that I was there from was it into '05 to into '07, and that's about how long it took. And it was a brutal process. I would say if you're going to do something like that, choose one thing and just go with that. It's a lot smoother. It was very difficult, but at the same time, it's a good story for perseverance and understanding what you want and doing whatever it takes to get there. But yeah, I joined to go into the SEAL teams. Like I didn't go to any other Navy. I know zip about the regular Navy. I was don't pass go, don't collect $200. I literally stepped right into buds.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
remember I got a box. I got a box in the mail of Navy uniforms, and I was thought, man, this is kind of weird. And then had a piece of paper. It was like October 24th of '07. I was in the Marine Corps, and then the next day, 25th, I'm in the Navy. It's weird.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, you left, and then Jesse Drehas, remember him?
Yeah.
He went to go for the Marine Corps wrestling team. Never saw him again. He is now a TAC P or JTAC with the Air National Guard in like Iowa or some shit like that.
Okay.
He's like a high speed, low drag motherfucker right now.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you gotta have good dudes calling for fire, man. That's a heck of a skill.
Can you elaborate on can you talk about your SEAL training? Can you talk about
Sure.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody loves good buzz stories, right? I got millions.
Dude, me and Fleek love hearing about Bud stories, man. We love it.
It's a thing, and it's kind of funny as I tell people on these podcasts, man, is that most people want to hear more about buds than they do about stories in combat. I was like, okay, well, I mean, I'll give you what you want, man. It's all good, but I think it's just one of those things where it's people can't understand what it takes to do something like that, and it's just there's so much. I'm not gonna say smoke and mirrors, but there's so much mystique behind buds that everybody just is so enthralled about it, and they got the 2, 3, 4 videos out and, this, that, and the other. But look, man, you can speculate all you want, but until you go through it, it's kind of like being shot at, man. You don't know how you're going to react until it happens. So you just gotta go full send. If that's what you want, you better have your head screwed on right, or else they're going to find out real quick you ain't got what it takes, and that's it. So, I was the old guy checking in. So we check in our dress blues, and you see everybody does the whole butt sniffing thing with the ribbon counts, right? And I had all my Haiti and Fallujah stuff, and immediately got singled out. And it also didn't help either that my buddies. So I had a pair of twins that were SEALs that got a little bit of notoriety, and they kind of helped ease my way in as far as setting up good interviews and whatnot. But
The last
all
thing
of their
said that.
buddies that they had served in combat with at I think it was SEAL Team 5, they were all instructors at Buds in PTRR and in first phase. So they did the favor of calling in and letting them know that I was coming. So I got a nice warm welcome into Buds. And then the fact that my picture was in the Lone Survivor book, that didn't help either. So however you want to call it, people recognize. They're like, hey, are you that guy in that thing? And I'm like, yeah. We're just dummies from Texas that worked out together trying to get our heads right going into the military. I went Marines, and they both went into teams. But
Jesus.
man, it was wild, dude. Shoot, broke my pelvis twice there. Went through Hell Week with a broken pelvis. That was fun.
Shit.
And then just pushed along best I possibly could. Pushing through it. There's challenges for everybody, right? I was kind of like the big kid there. So not only was I the oldest and most senior, but I was the largest one. I'd say per capita by mass. There were a couple of guys taller than me. I'm 6'4". There was a guy that was 6'6" and 6'7", but they were kind of built like Michael Phelps. And they could swim and run like grease lightning. It was phenomenal to see them. But unfortunately, that put me on the 2 spot, so I had like the worst spot on the boat, bouncing on my head. C2, C5. They really love that in the back of the neck. Degenerate disc syndrome's awesome. Uh, so, uh, yeah, it was fun, man. It was a wild ride going through buds. Hell Week was a dadgum challenge that literally took everything I had. And if it wasn't for a devil doc signing off my waiver, because he knew my pubic rami bone was cracked in half, if he hadn't signed my paperwork, I probably wouldn't have been able to even attend Hell Week. So that was pretty cool. But I had to pass Hell Week in order to get to that point where they would roll me a couple of classes so I could heal up and then carry on with that next couple of classes. Got past Hell Week. So, but yeah, a lot of crazy stories, man. You have to dial it in and say, hey, dial the questions in a little bit more, because I could go on about buds forever, man.
And then after buds is what's
SQT.
after buds?
SQT, SEAL qualification training. So another 6 to 8 months, depending on the track
6
you're
to
in.
8 months.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, man. They don't just hand them things out online, you know.
No. I never thought of that, but I didn't. I mean, it's like what, like a year and a half total before you actually get your trident, right?
I mean, if you go through like without getting hurt or any rolls or anything like that, yeah, absolutely.
But and if you do get hurt, they take the time for you to heal so you can get hurt again.
If they want you to, if they want it all depends, man. I haven't seen the rules and regulations, so I don't know. All I know is from what I saw at my period of time when I went through buds, that it seemed a little bit subjective on if they saw the potential in you and they thought that you were someone that they could be on a team with. But of course, you have to get to a certain point within training for them to even notice you, because there's so many people. I mean, dude, we started PTRR with 336 people.
Damn.
Right, yeah, and I was the class leader. So trying to haul a freaking battalion around, it was tough, man. But then that got weeded down, and I think we ended up taking 150 or something like that in the first phase. And then, by the time it's Hell Week, we're in the 30s. So, and that's only week 4? But so they don't have too much time. The only reason that they really knew me was, one, because my boys had called in. I was the class leader, so it was, high visibility, and I try to put out as hard as I possibly can to be the best leader that I could during training. And I had to go talk to all the instructors every day afterwards, and then they would sometimes drop the instructor vibe and come back down to I'm a human. And we actually shared a lot of the same ground and a lot of the same places overseas. So that kind of already got a little bit of respect as well. So when it came down to me getting hurt, because I broke the bone during log PT Thursday before Hell Week. And then we went into Hell Week on Sunday. And that's when it happened. On Friday was the last med checks. And the devil doc that was there, you guys know what devil docs are. Do the people out there know what that is? Okay, cool. So the devil doc.
Will you actually? I know. Fleek knows. Will you explain what devil doc is?
Okay, so the corpsmen that are inside the Marine Corps are all Navy people, right? They are Fleet Marine Force qualified to be able to go out with the infantry elements, and there's all of the individuals that are within the battalion aid station, the regimental aid station, and above. The officers also are in the Navy. So there was an 04 lieutenant commander, translated into Marine Corps talk, that's major, that I walked up to, and I had to go see him before going into Hell Week. Now, I looked on you look at the uniform and you see the FMF pen, so I'm like, where'd you do Marine Corps time? And then he's got the chesty bulldog paperweight on his desk. I was like, all right, and he goes, dude, you know what's wrong with you, right? I went, yeah, I do. I said I could feel it. And I asked him, hey, man, what's the worst thing that could possibly happen? He goes, well, if you lunge on it wrong, hit with more weight on it, get hit, something weird happens, and that bone splinters off, because it was a little loop underneath your pelvis, right? That was in half. So the bones were doing this every time I'd walk on it, right? So lunging with a boat on your head is great. And then log PT also. But he said the bone could splinter off this way and go up into that bundle of arteries and veins that are up in your pelvis, and they could sever them, and I could bleed out internally and die. That's the worst that could happen. So I was like, okay. I went back to the old Marine Corps thing. I was like, all right, most dangerous course of action. It's like, well, okay, so now tell me what the most likely course of action is. He goes, well, you're going to be okay, but you're going to go through a lot of pain. And he says, and he told me, he's like, we'll give you, he said, med checks work. So we started on Sunday night. And the first med checks weren't until Tuesday afternoon. He said, if you could make it to Tuesday afternoon, we can give you Toradol shot. That ought to kill the pain for about 12 hours. So I only feel about half the pain, half the time, right? But then again, not knowing how much damage I'm doing to it, right? So I was like, so, you know, he looked at me and he goes, what do you want to do? I said, well, what do you think I ought to do? And he took that bulldog and he put it right in front of me and just looked up at me. And I went, I'm picking up what you're putting down. All right, sign that sheet. Let's roll. And then we headed off, man. Everything was fine.
Dude, wow. You're an inspiration, man. You really are.
So how
You
bad,
really
how
are.
bad did
Too
it
dumb to
suck?
quit, man. That's all it is.
How bad did it suck?
Oh my god, it was so bad.
It was so bad.
Oh my god, it was absolute worst pain. It was a 5.5 day prayer session, man.
I don't
It hurts so bad.
How'd you get past it?
Prayer. I got no other word but prayer. Like the good Lord gave me the strength to keep going, man. Like he wanted me to go through that thing. And dude, it was one of those things where it's like I had to stop thinking. It taught me to stop thinking internally and think externally. You're a boat crew leader, you're the freaking class leader. You got to try to get at least some of these boys through and think about mission. It was just mission, 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 mission. That's all I was thinking about was the mission. And I was thinking about my boys back home, my family. Like I couldn't quit. I couldn't let people down. I couldn't stop. I was like, this thing's gonna have to kill me. So I'm gonna go through whatever pain it takes. And then you start thinking about other people that have gotten wounded in combat. I was even thinking about Jesus on the cross, man, having to carry that 300-pound log, after being beaten and flailed. And it's like, look, man, if they can do that, I can do this. You hear so many cool stories. I mean, there was one Medal of Honor winner that I heard. I think it was in the With the Old Breed book. And he came and visited us one time down at the battalion. And the dude had a buddy that was a machine gunner that got his leg blown off, and he took the stump and just shoved it into the ground and then continued to lay down suppressive fire against the NVA. And it's just little stories like that where it's like,
Jesus.
I'm going to make this. I got to do this, man. And then it's one of those things too, where it's like, all right, well, you live to tell the tale. And that story then can show people that you can go through some really, really hard stuff if your mind takes you through it. Because if your mind and your spirit are strong, your body's going to follow, right? The tail follows the head. So that's what he said. If you lose it up here, everything else is going to freaking crumble too. But if you keep charging and start taking it, start taking everything in chunks, right? They even told us, they said, how do you even just passing Hell Week normally, right? How do you do it? Well, you go from meal to meal. Whatever happens in between the meal, you have no control over. But you do know a few things. You're going to get 4 meals a day, and the sun's going to come up and the sun's going to go down. So those are your markers.
Dude, that is a very stoic philosophy. You just went through stoicism like in that one sentence. Like day to day, present. Don't think about the past. Don't think about the future. Think where you are, meal to meal. I mean, that dude, Seneca would be so proud of you right now if he was still alive.
When you were laying in the ocean, at the end of Hell Week, you're laying in the ocean until they release you. How long was that process? How long were you laying in the ocean?
Well, it depends. I mean, so with Hell Week, it's very interesting. It's based on the time of year as to how much they have you in the water or how much they have you running, right? If it's hot, they're going to have you run more. If it's cold, they're going to put you in the water more because that one sucks worse, right?
Yeah.
So I went through in October, and I guess the old adage or saying or whatever it is that God loves team guys, but he hates bud students. So it's one of those things where if you're in Coronado and the weather goes bad, you can almost guarantee that there's a class at Buds going through Hell Week, right? Every single time weather got bad, it was always during Hell Week. Dude, the night before we started Hell Week, a northerly or whatever it's called came down from Alaska and pushed the cold water from Alaska down to us.
Nor'easter.
And the temperature dropped 10 degrees. The water temp did. Right? So it went from 55 to 45 it's like fluctuated between 45 and 47 degrees was the water temperature. So the amount of time we spent in the water was great. So, I mean, it's, you come out of the tent the GP tent that they have you in when Hell Week gets kicked off and breakout happens. First thing you do is you go to the grinder. They're spraying you off with all the hoses and everything, and you get broken up into groups. And then they start sending groups to the surf zone and back, surf zone and back, surf zone and back, right? And then after that, you low crawl all the way out from the grinder all the way out to the O course, and you start your first log PT. Once that happens, then they put you in the water, and that's when you're arm in arm and you're just doing the little surf torture, goodness. Which honestly, for me, I liked it because I went numb. All the pain went numb, and it actually helped me.
Nice
So
perspective.
I wasn't. I mean, because the thing is, you go in the water, they can't really do much to you, and all you're really doing is just singing and talking trash back to them, anyways. So it's just a matter of, it's all right. It's a little chilly, and I'm gonna get some sand in my eyes, but it'll all buff out. It's fine. But yeah, there was a couple of times too. Steel Pier, holy cow, that was freaking cold. We had to stay in the water, and it was almost like a drown proofing evolution during the over by the piers where they throw you in the cold, strip you down in your underwear or your UDT shorts or your tri shorts. Sorry, I had tri shorts on, like Under Armour tights, and jump in the water, hands tied, and then you're just doing the little bobby thing for however long they have you doing it. It's pretty chilly. And then they had a cold weather evolution too, where we were in the surf zone. The surf picked up, and I think it was at this point where they were just trying to keep us awake, where they would go out past the surf zone with the safety jet skis, and we'd have to just swim out and back and out and back and out and back. And it was, the water was so cold. And that was when actually I was the only guy ever actually saved from ringing the bell. Cause one of my good buddies who actually we ended up doing our first platoon together, he got up like dadgum Frankenstein and just went charging towards the bell. And I knew him. I knew his mindset. I knew the dude wasn't right. And all he needed was that slap, and he was locked back in, right? But I went and like Roman Reigns speared him in the water, and that woke him up, and then he never even thought about touching it again. But just a solid guy. But yeah, there was a lot of time in the cold, man. A lot of time.
Can we go back to your hands getting tied and you doing the flutter kits? How long do they make you do that?
Till they tell you to stop. I don't have a watch, dude. I don't know. But I mean, I know during the actual no kidding drown proofing evolution, when they tie your hands behind your back and they tie your feet together and push you off of a 3-meter platform into the water, and you go and you get in the deep end, which is you're off in the deep end, obviously, but I think it's I want to say 15 foot. It goes from 15 to 9 and then like up to 7. But you're in the 15-foot area, and then you cruise over into the 9, and then you start doing the bobs. And that was good 20 minutes. Easy 20 minutes of just up, down, up, down. So if you got off of me, I thought it was really relaxing. But some people, like, they panic, man. And if you panic at all during that and you get off your rhythm, you're going to run out of breath and you're going to flip out. But the whole point was to make yourself become comfortable within that environment. That's all it was, man. I tell you, you come out of Buds, you don't have a really, awesome freaking operator. Buds is a school for professional tough guys. That's all it is. It's just, at the end of Buds, I know that I can look to that guy on my left and my right and know that he will not quit in any environment, no matter what happens. That's what I know. It doesn't make you an operator. When you go to SQT, that's when you start really learning the skill sets, right? It's basic underwater demolition, right? Very, very simple. But it does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it's a phenomenal school. And there's a reason that scientists come out and study all the people, and we end up swallowing weird pills and get our internal temperature and crap. And all the other country service members and whatnot come over and review it, and they want to add to it. Even within our own, when MARSOC came up, man, one of the first places they stopped was Buds, because they know what it produces. Like, the school does exactly what it's supposed to do. Kind of like Marine Corps boot camp, right? It does exactly what it's supposed to do. Train, screen, evaluate, and then make Marines. It does that. But it doesn't make you a rifleman. That's what SOI is for. So to give you this is to that, what SOI is to the Marines is SQT is to the SEALs. It's just longer.
Yeah, and proficient.
A bit.
Because 13 weeks. Yeah, we had 3 squares a day, at least 8 hours of sleep.
Right.
Broken, because that stupid Firewatch. But yeah, I'm sorry. I loved Marine Corps boot camp, but I don't think I would have. No, I think I would have rung a bell if I tried.
First
It's
day.
another story, man, and then
First
it's awful. It's just awful, but it does what it's supposed to. And they say, "Well, what's blood's like? What's blood's like?" And I always say, "Well, if you took yourself, lock yourself in a meat locker, and every hour on the hour, somebody for 6 months straight, and every on the hour, somebody came into that meat locker, threw sand in your face, and poured ice water down your back for 6 months. And then kicked you in the junk. That's pretty much what it was."
So at what point do you pick your job? Like, are you the one that picks your job, or they find out what you're best at and they give you your job?
Question.
Yeah, so it depends, man. So the things that you can select once you come out of SQT, there's certain billets that are open. There's so many East Coast billets, there's so many West Coast billets, and just like with the Marines, you fill out a dream sheet. I want to go this coast. Cool story. Now, the other things that you can opt towards is you can do languages. You can do 18 Delta if you want to sign up to be a corpsman. Or you can go to SEAL delivery vehicle teams, right? Go to SDVs. And you have to screen for that. But then that's only if they have openings or whatever, and they think you have the aptitude and you do well with the interviews and things like that, right? But as far as like specializations, which if you're talking like sniper, breacher, things like that, the medic is the only one that's really separate right out of the gate. The other one is that whenever you show up to the platoon, each platoon has to have certain quals in order to become C2 ready to deploy. Okay, it has to have so many snipers. It has to have so many breachers. It has to have 2 medics. You have to have so many people with so many different skills. So what they do is they just say, all right, hey, who's interested in doing this? Because why would they send somebody to something if they don't even want to do it? I know I don't want a sniper out there shooting and doing recce stuff if he didn't want to go be a sniper, So they kind of push guys towards their wants, and then they go through the process for whatever that is during the first level. See, that's the thing, is that the workup is so extensive, man. You've got 3 6-month blocks before you even deploy of training. Yeah. And the first one is when you get all your individual schools in. Then you circle back up for unit level training, and that's when you go through the different blocks, right? You go through the CQC, the combat swimmer, the land warfare, things like that. And then when you get done with that 6-month block, and then you come back into task group integration training, or it used to be called SIT, squadron integration training, and you go around, you take your crew, your troop, and your platoon to wherever it is in the United States that most mimics wherever it is that you're going to go deploy, and you go do mock operations, and then you stay in comms with the guys over there, but it's almost like doing a deployment before doing the deployment. Then you come back, do your leave, weapons check-in, all that good stuff, and then a couple weeks later, then it's off to deploy wherever it is.
Jeez.
But wherever you go, at the end of ULT, you're going to know where you're going. And that's when you start making the phone calls, and that's when you start. So really, there's ideally about a 6-month prep time for you to talk to the guys wherever you're going. If you're not, if there's not wartime going on, you're not invading or whatever. But that gives you the time to take whatever travel funds or whatever it is that they have and specialize groups in different things based solely off of that mission. So every troop that deploys is set to do that specific mission in that area of the world.
What was your specialty? What did you end up doing?
Yeah.
I was just a regular freaking door kicker, man. Team leader, platoon commander. Yeah.
You ever shoot a 50 cal?
A lot. Yeah. A lot.
Really? You're gonna ask that this warfighter if he shot a 50 cal?
A lot. More. I will say I shot it more so in the Marine Corps than I did in the teams.
However, baby.
However, we did Monster Garage a couple of our LT ATVs in Afghanistan, and actually put a universal flower pot on the front of the LT ATV and mounted a 50 cal on the front of it. So it's pretty cool seeing a golf cart with a 50 cal mounted on it, and using it. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you what your daily carrying is.
Oh, like now or then?
Yep. Well, both. Let's go with both.
Okay. Well, back then it was the M4 variant with the EOTech sight, Knight's armament suppressor, and PMags. Nothing fancy. Like nice and easy. Flip up, top, front and rear scope, and then I carried the Mark 23 because I'm not a small person, and So I could have carried the regular sidearm. Some of the guys even went compact. I didn't. It's not happening. So I was noticing, especially in Afghanistan, that I'd run into some issues with getting through the doors because they're not made for large people. So it was either make your own door or, you're going to be not going to be one of the first guys going in. You're going to be in the back anyways, which is fine. But but to go through and start, if I'm doing any clearance or anything like that, it's a lot easier to do it with that pistol than it is to the M4 because I can't physically make it in there and do all the maneuvers that I need to. So having a pistol with a suppressor and a light and a laser on it, that's IR, and it's a 45 too, so it packs a little bit of a punch. So, but that was the pistol that I carried, and then I had an axe on my back.
Well, yeah, of course.
I mean,
you carried an axe in Fallujah. I remember that.
Yep.
I had a little one. I had a small one in my back.
Whatever works,
Damn,
man.
dude.
But yeah, that was that one. And then EDC nowadays, honestly, I have a little travel box, a little mini 1550 Pelican case that I have 7 different pistols from 45 down to 380. It's kind of a choose your own adventure type thing. So I carry based off of where I'm going. So that way I'm ready for whatever.
Yeah.
Dude.
Hey, let's say you and your wife are out at dinner. You're at some fancy restaurant, right? How's
Right.
your situational awareness?
Same as
You
everywhere.
sizing everybody up?
Always. Backs to a wall. I know where the exits are. I know who is and isn't looking like a threat. No, dude, it was job related. It was like, I really can't stop doing this. Then it kind of just got fun. So, and now it's to the point, which is funny because I'm not even out a year yet, right? But now it's to the point where it's like, you're just kind of waiting for something to happen. But not to say that I'm bored, but it's just one of those things that once it gets ingrained in you, you can't let it go. And it's just good too because a lot of people I talk to this folks too, especially when I'm talking to police and going to SWAT teams and things like that. Is always tell them like, look, guys, it's not paranoia, it's preparation. Okay, are you going to be the sheep or are you going to be the sheepdog? What are you going to do here, man? If you're not ready for something, then you're going to be succumbing to those that are. So be prepared. Or it's the same thing that they told us in Iraq. I think it was it Zenny, General Zenny, that said, "Be courteous, be kind, but have a plan to kill everybody you meet." And then later,
oh my God,
the SecDef later took that one on.
Yeah. Oh my God, I totally remember when he said that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So honestly, if you keep that in your mind, everything's okay, and you'll be a nice, gentle, calm, awesome individual. And then does
your mind do SEALs sometimes use the OODA loop like
always?
Okay.
It's odd.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just checking.
Big time. Yeah.
I just took a pistol class probably about 11 miles from our house. We both live in Middle Tennessee. We live very close to each other. But the not the gun gallery, Outpost Armory, I just got my enhanced carry, and they had this guy coming in talking about OODA loop, and I was like, well, shit, they teach that to pilots. But yeah, that's probably something that operators get taught. Very much so, right?
And I mean, under the wellness portion, because I consider protection of yourself and anyone else, that's part of it. Plus, I can't let the gun down either. So if somebody gets a concealed firearm, come to my course. I got you covered. If you're an executive protection company and you want to learn how to run convoys and understand what the principle is based off of all the stuff that we did in Iraq and Haiti, I got you covered. And I can teach that and have gun wheel travel. You know what I'm saying? But because the thing is that you have a lot of people, and I started to see a gap, especially with the pistol, because I honestly started the business up to do the pistol thing, but it doesn't bring in enough to put food on the plate. But I do it now just because it's fun. But give them a dose of reality, man. You got a lot of people that are used to, picking up a pistol and shooting at a piece of paper. But, you throw reality at them and everything goes in a whole daggum different direction, man. Whole different direction. So, and they come up and they go, nobody's ever taught me the things that you have. And most of the time, honestly, if they come for just one course, they come up to me and say, look, you've just taught me that I don't need to carry a firearm because I'm a threat to myself and to other people. Because it's little things that they don't think about. I'll give you a little tidbit, right? Going into a grocery store, okay? So say you got active shooter. You pull a pistol. Somebody else has a pistol. They haven't seen the active shooter. How do they know you're not the bad guy? Now you're an additional threat that you've just added to the situation. And here's the thing, you're not a dadgum operator, all right? You pull a pistol in order to, at the last second, not to brandish, not to cause fear, at the very last second to get you and whoever it is that you're with the heck out of there and have the police go and do their job. Period. That's why you pull a pistol in that type of situation. And they're like, I never even thought about that. It's like, yeah, you've just inserted yourself. You are now a combatant. And not everyone has seen you. They don't know you're the good guy.
And where can people take this class, sir? Because I definitely want to sign up for this shit.
So you can come down and meet me. Down here, you can go to my website at www.divinesavagery.com.
I was just on it. Where are you located? Tell me.
I'm in the Virginia Beach area.
You were just there.
Yeah.
You're in Virginia Beach?
Yeah.
Dude, 2nd Platoon all got HPV in Virginia Beach when we did the Helo Dunker in 2007.
Classic. Dude, I tell you what, you want a good Helo Dunker? Go to Fort Campbell. That's like a dadgum movie set. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's like 45 minutes away from us.
So cool. That's the coolest and most realistic Helo Dunker I've ever done. But yeah, but I'll come to you too. Like I said, have gun rule travel. I mean, dude, I've even gone in and helped people pick out their own weapons because they had no idea what they're looking for. And they don't know. They're like, well, what gun should I get? Well, which one fits in your hand better? What? Have you touched one? Because if the gun doesn't feel right, it's not going to shoot right.
Right.
And then we'll look at brands after that. Right? I don't care if you're looking at Gucci model and they want to put all this crap. I'm like, you got to carry that, right? Like, well, again, I always say, hey, what's the purpose of you buying it? Is it to have a Gucci gun or is this for actual, no kidding, use? Me personally, my classes and stuff like that, I prefer to teach actual use. Like, I've had people too, like, hey, man, I got my M4 all jacked up and, like, I want to come take a course and do that. I'm going, all right, cool. So when are you going to do this in real life? Are you an operator? No, I'm a medic. Like a regular Navy medic? Yeah. Okay, when are you ever going to need this? Are you part of a visit board search and seizure team on a ship? No. Bro, I'll teach you, but I'm telling you, you're wasting your money, you're wasting your time. Because a one and done thing for like that type of stuff, me going to police departments or having police or something come out to me makes a heck of a lot more sense because it's something they potentially could use. Maybe not even a regular cop. I'd say probably SWAT. Because regular police, dude, you guys go 30-year career, they only pull their pistol once a year to qual, if not less. It's sad. And honestly, I'm working with another crew right now to come up with some leadership courses and some, actual real world training for police officers from bottom up. And it's all honestly based off of the small unit leaders course, the infantry squad leaders course, and the senior leaders course as well. So that way, everybody up and down the chain inside the police force, because we've got to train them. They've got to spend the money to get their folks trained up right, because it's a threat they're dealing with every daggum day, and we want to help them out.
Tommy, I will. I'm actually going to be in Mount Vernon, Virginia, August 7th to 8th. I would love to stop by. I'm gonna fill out some information, but I would love to come by and I'm gonna stay a couple days and take some classes.
Yeah, man, for sure. And like I said, even if it's just me coming out and talking to folks, coming out for an hour or something, and just to give them perspective, because that's what a lot of people don't have, and that's another thing that I think that I was given was a long, very eclectic career in order to tell people this is how things really are, this is how bad or good things can get, and here's how you can work everything in between, whether it be mindset or anything from getting your butt off the couch every day all the way to, okay, I'm in a really heavy, hardcore situation. How do I deal with this? Or if it's even I've got this really crazy brief I've got to the boss. How do I handle the pressure and, things like that. So I'm kind of all over the place, man. It's one of those things, like I said, I want to take all the fun stuff that I love doing and be able to help folks out.
Do you teach basic CPL classes? Like
that's the thing is like if you have a weapon, if you have a concealed handgun, I'll teach you right out the gate if you don't know how to use it. And that's honestly where I'd prefer. I mean, granted, I love the expert shooters. I'll absolutely love doing that. The problem is they get in that 3-gun mindset and it's not reality. Which 3-gun's cool, it's awesome, but to me it's like competitive shooting, it's like a sport, but they'll get it in their head that that's practice. I'll tell people like, look man, Balahack Airsoft is right down the road. You want to learn tactics? Go shoot it up with these kids. believe it or not, if you use actual real tactics, that is silly it may seem, and they have no idea what they're doing. But the thing is that who are you going to be going up against in a real world situation, right? And it's actual feedback if your stuff works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and it's 1,000 kids. It's a beehive type thing, but there's so many small little things that you can take away from it that you can teach people. So, yeah, I mean, hell, just now thinking about it, making sausage, I could take somebody out there. We could go have a day, and it's like, all right, I'll teach you stuff here, and then we'll go over there and we'll do it back and forth, and we'll see how you do it with a live report coming back at you. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I said, it's a reality thing. So yeah, you get your concealed handgun, I'll get you right out the gate. You're an expert or something like that, I got something for you too, because I got a piece of land that a buddy of mine owns that he lets me use that we can actually shoot out of vehicles. So, you know, if you have it, and I'll pull your vehicle up and I'll show you how to shoot around the vehicle, and we will shoot in and outside of your own personal vehicle, you know, just to see what it's like, just to show you that the movies ain't real.
Yeah.
Well, that's my wife, by the way. Hi, bye.
Well,
Hey, Tommy and I, we served together. But he's kind of a badass.
Not really.
This
I
guy right
just eat
here.
different colored crayons. That's all. Hey,
And that's Katrina.
nice to
So-
meet you. Pleasure.
Bye, babe. I'll be done in a little bit. No, it's in the microwave.
I love it.
I ate dinner already.
I love that we're recording and this is.
Dude, I had to go get chicken and I had to debone everything and I made
Hey,
mac
dude,
and cheese.
Hey,
And
you
it's
know
her
what?
favorite.
Gains are continuous,
Tommy,
man. Gains are
so I have
continuous.
I run a nonprofit here in Tennessee. How much would it cost to get you to come and speak for like an hour?
We'll talk about that offline because it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm absolutely, I'd love to, man. But yeah, it's usually just a standard going rate and then travel to get me out there. But yeah, we'll talk offline.
You don't need a hotel because you got two guys. I got a guest room, man. You can stay with me.
Rock and roll. I got to blow up
That's
matches. I can do it deployment style, buddy. No
Okay.
worries. I just need just like a rental car to get me out there, and you know I'll bring my own. I'm currently, thank God, I'm sponsored right now for powerlifting. I've got my own chow, so that's
Yeah, dude. Seriously, yeah. With the powerlifting, I just saw that today. That put. You know who does that? Harvey. Remember Brian Harvey?
Name
Kevin
sounds
Harvey.
familiar. Name sounds familiar.
This guy was like, dude. He played at Austin Peay State University back in '89.
Great.
And he became our CO in Ramadi. Like, this guy was putting up
That's where I seen him.
ridiculous, like 400 pounds, like no sweat,
That it?
like this. OP Haria, we're doing this. I'm doing like 215 pounds, like, oh, I just shot myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
But dude, you are putting up some serious weight.
I'm trying. Doing my best. I mean, it's one of those things again where not only do I love doing it, it's the iron therapy piece of it also, but that too also, and I think that's why Fire Ice Frogs kind of brought me in. And I'm actually their sponsored athlete, but they brought me in because of my story, right? Because of overcoming everything. It's overcoming multiple surgeries, to include brain surgery a couple of years ago, and then had this.
You had brain surgery?
I had brain surgery. Yeah, I had a brain tumor and a cyst. The tumor was the size of a golf ball. The cyst was the size of my hand. The tumor was attached to the back of my brainstem, and the cyst was inside the skull, pushing my brain forward. I did the monkey math for Marines based off of the growth because they watched it grow for 3.5 years. But it went back to an Afghanistan deployment where a lot of other people came up with some kind of funky stuff. So we're guessing that it was something from there. But so I get the high five to Richard for beating cancer. But yeah, man, I would have dropped dead one day. I was asymptomatic for it. I was having some TBI-like symptoms. And I went up to this great organization called Home Base up in Boston, which is attached to Mass General. Yeah.
Buddy, one of my buddies I went to boarding school with, Reed Bundy, he's a huge advocate for Home Base.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
big, great,
good.
phenomenal facility. But they hooked me up with a phenomenal surgeon and their staff. And I went there for TBI and found out I had a couple of hitchhikers in my head. And yeah, man, they monitored it 3.5 years. They took it out. It was April 26th of 2022. April 26th of 2022. And that's kind of after when I came out of that one. That's when I kind of came up with an interesting idea because I need to challenge myself. And it was, long story short, I did a bunch of cool stories came out of that whole surgery thing, going up to it and whatever. But the one that ends up people getting a lot of flair for people, but also the reason that kind of led me into powerlifting was I always loved strength athletics and had been studying strongman, bodybuilding, powerlifting, things like that. But I didn't really get serious until after this. But I asked the doc what my limitations were, and he said you can lift 5 pounds. And I went, okay, well, how am I going to know when I've done too much because I'm kind of stupid, and I'll keep pushing. So he goes, if you hear or feel a pop in the back of your head, that's bad. And I went, okay, is there anything I will know leading up to said pop, or are we just going to like go full send and we're going to have fun here with this? And he said, you'll figure it out. And I went, okay, I guess it's different for everybody. So I got out of the hospital. Day one, I'm in the hotel. I got to stay 10 days in the hotel, and then I get the crud in the back of my head taken out. And I went down there, and I had to get on an incline bench because I had to stay, I think, at a 30-degree angle because of the brain fluid and everything. All the transfer would mess me up if I went flat, so I had to sleep that way too. But anyway, so and I've got pictures of this, of me benching 5-pound weights, and I kept pushing. And all of a sudden, it felt like a balloon was blowing up in my head, right? And I went, okay, Dum Dum says balloon blows up too fast and too hard, balloon pops. Pop is bad. That's going to be my thing. So I came back the next day and tried doing bench again. And I was like, let's see how far I can push it until I feel that same thing. Well, I got a few more reps. And I went, now we're on to something. 1, it tells me healing's happened. And 2, it tells me I can overcome this. So something in the back of my head said, you need a challenge. Again, because I'm stupid. And I was like, all right, well, what's this going to be? There's going to be 2 of them. One is, how can you get into shape, as good a shape as humanly possible, like hitting all the same marks that I was going into it, because I train like crazy going into surgery, because, if you go into surgery in better shape, you're going to heal faster. So I got in shape like I was going to deployment, man. I was ready to rock and roll. How long is that going to take? Well, that took 14 weeks and 2 days. I wrote a big book about a training manual of everything that I did, what messed up, what, just to give the docs, here's a metric, post-brain surgery of what a human's capable of. Might be a little extreme, but this is what worked, because there was nothing. I had nothing. I had no roadmap. He said, you'll figure it out. I went, okay, that's weird, but all right. Which is fine, because his job is getting it out, right? But nobody wanted to touch me, So anyway, I came up with a challenge. I said, all right, within 1 year, I'm going to go from benching 5 pounds to 500 pounds. And I did it in 362 days.
Holy shit.
So that's kind of another one of the cool stories to help inspire people that.
Benching 500 pounds.
Correct.
Now I feel like a
God
pussy for
damn.
crying about cancer.
I am. Yeah, dude, because of the Navy and the shellback thing, like, I can't even, like, no way. You guys haze the fuck out of me during the shellback ceremony, and I can't even run and fucking do any of that shit anymore.
Well, it's all for a purpose, right? That's
Are you a shellback, by the way?
No, never did. The only time I spent on a boat was during Marine BLT training.
Battalion landing team.
Yeah. So during that, and then ship takedowns, man, maybe spending an overnight, but I've never done like a big long tour or spent underneath, doing the dive thing.
I'm not gonna haze you, okay? I'm not signing up for that.
I feel like I've gotten my fair share of hazing.
I think you're good.
I think you're good.
I'm good. But it's little things too, right? So like I had almost was supposed to be debilitating knee surgery back in 2013. Doc said I'd never do anything heavy on my knee again, never be able to run this, that, and the other. A year later, I sent him a video of me in a strongman competition towing an 18-ton truck. So, and I'm like, don't ever count me out of anything.
Okay, I'm fucking seriously scared of you right now.
Don't be, man. Like I said, the whole point of all of this is just to keep going. The doc, after I had 3 procedures in one on my shoulder also, and he said I'd never bench press again. So it's just one of those things, man. Is what are you going to accept? And
do you go up against those like like Norwegian guys and the Finnish and the guys like with the big rocks. Like I gotta put
Well,
this right here and
so that's strongman. I did strongman back in 2016, but after my shoulder surgery, that did the one thing it did leave me because they had to mess with the bone shaping a little bit. Is I can't go overhead with my right hand. I can bench and I can do incline press, but overhead I'm not there yet. And one of the major things in strongman is doing overhead pressing. It sucks too because I really love doing like log press and things. But I have done all the Atlas stones, Husafel stones. I can still do yokes and carries, and I can still do stones too. But I'm very limited. So I'm doing so as far as competition, I'm trying to get as strong as I possibly can and get up to the highest level where I'm at. Just to one for me, just to see because I am curious, what can the human body capable of? How much can it take? And then the other one is to kind of serve as an inspiration of, you got to practice what you preach. If I'm going to sit there and teach strength to people, I better daggone be doing it myself. Because that's another thing I don't like seeing is a bunch of fat people coming in that either has-beens or never was coming in and trying to tell me how to do something. Right. And I said, I thought that was crazy with the human performance teams that would come in, they come in from professional athletics or from D1 colleges or whatever. I was like, you coach baseball, strength and conditioning. What do you know about being an operator? Right. And so then they would just put up these workouts of the day and it's like, oh, well, look, there's a Jim Jones workout. There's a CrossFit. Go do that. And you'll get out of shape. So it's like, all right, well, I guess I'm on my own then. So it's up to you to figure out one, how your body works, and two, how to optimize it instead of maximize it. And not everybody does it. But, a lot of other guys that got out, they did the endurance runs, the Brazilian jiu-jitsu and whatever. But I haven't seen a team guy get out and do strength. So that's what I'm going to do. That's going to be my thing.
What did you retire as? Your rank?
Commander.
Oh, you're an officer.
Yeah. Go ahead and does that knock my credibility down a little bit now?
No.
Are you
Commander
those
in
type of
Chief? Fuck no. Hell fucking no. Did you know a Lieutenant Commander Andrew Paul?
Nope.
He never did.
Mm-mm.
He's a 3 guy. I went to high school with him. He was with Jocko and all them in Ramadi. Actually,
Yeah,
and
I don't know too many West Coast guys. I was buddies with Chris Kyle.
you were East Coast, right?
I was the East Coast guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you an officer when you went into Buds?
Yep. Yeah, I was a senior guy and class leader.
And the officers get treated just equally as shit as the enlisted? Worse.
No, I'm kidding. It's equal rights. It's what is it? The gunnery sergeant Hartman. We're all equally worthless. Yeah, we're all equally worthless. So yeah, everybody gets some, but the officers get a little bit more because they're immediately thrust into leadership positions, which they should be. Right. So like if you're an O, you're going to become a boat crew leader at Buds, or if there's not enough boat crews or whatever, you'll take over one of the head positions of, hey, you're the guy that takes care of cleaning the boats. You're the guy that takes care of cleaning the vehicles. You're the guy that takes care of cleaning up the instructor's area or whatever. But that you're put into that leadership position. And then usually what will happen is at the end of Buds, they'll go through an officer leadership course to kind of teach them map reading, briefing techniques, things of that nature. I was fortunate and got to bypass right through that because of my Marine Corps career kind of established no reason for me to go through something like that. So, yeah.
I'll go through boot camp. You never have to go through another one.
That was it, man.
Did you go to Chris Kyle's funeral?
Yep, sure did. I was one of 3 East Coast guys. The 3 of us from the East Coast flew out there. If you look at the burial site or the burial when it's going in and everybody's taking a knee, where he would be laying on his right foot, you'll see one guy that's a little bit bigger than everybody else, and that's me. But there's 60 of us there, I believe, total.
Jeez.
That was a wild situation, man.
Do you know a guy named Ryan Parrott?
No, huh?
He was a SEAL also. I think he was at that funeral.
I know. We've got all these names. And
I don't know all of them. But it's not as bad as the Marine Corps, though, because like the SEALs, active, there's what, 2,500, something like that, right? But I like the people that go, oh, you were in the Marines. You know Chris? I'm like, what? And it's like, there's like 47, I think there's like, or what is it, 75,000? Or 47,000? My
It's what Camp
at
Lejeune?
Lejeune, at Lejeune.
There's like 75,000
35,
Marines in
yeah,
Lejeune.
yeah. That's Lejeune alone. Like, are you kidding me? I don't know, Chris.
Well, it's funny, man. I was just doing a walk. I did a 3 mile today, real easy. And this guy's walking past me. I got my shirt off, and I got my EGA right here. And he's like, "You a Marine?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." He's like, "Oh, I was 3-1." I was like, "That's great, man. Awesome." 3-8. And then we actually got to talk. We're actually having him and his girlfriend. We're all having dinner at Champy's. Um, Chicken and tamales. It's a
Did you
great
hold
restaurant.
hands?
On
I mean,
Friday.
you find less fakes of them and more fakes. Like so many
He was
fake
like, I'm
deals.
an 03. I'm like, yeah, I was a 31. I'm
Well, that's
11.
good.
And so he wasn't a sniper. He wasn't recon. He just said what he was. And see, some guys, I've never known that many snipers. Like everyone I talked to is like, yeah, I was a sniper. I was like, oh, really? Okay, good to go.
Well, so here's the thing: is that you do it just like the fake seals, right? The first question that you should ask if someone, because I even saw a guy. I remember going to Pizza Hut with my family of all places before going to Buds, and there's a dude with a trident tattoo, fat, nasty looking dude, right? And I'm going something, and the ink looked a little too new. So I
Oh
walked up and
God.
I said, hey, sir, I'm about to head to Buds, this, that, and he just looked at me and goes, man, those instructors, oh boy, they're gonna tear you up. And I'm like, well, all right, awesome. Like, when'd you do your time? This, that, and the other. He's like, oh man, they're gonna do it. And I was like, all right, so somebody hit the repeat button on this guy. But I come to find out later that there's just the catch-all be-all questions, right? Where you can usually stump the chump pretty quick, right? And it's like, oh, you were a SEAL. What Buds class were you? And if they don't instantly say what it was, they're fake. Right? Some guys might. Like, I had one guy tell me that he was Bud's class, or was it UDT class 1 or something like that, and he was about 50, and I'm going. So I was like, how's Operation Overlord? Had no idea what I was talking about. Right? So, and I was like, hey, man, what was training in Florida like? Because initially that's where we were.
Yeah.
And he was
Fort,
like,
Fort,
oh, no, man,
Fort Pierce.
I didn't train in Florida. I went, huh. So where'd you go to Buds? Oh, in California. Oh, you didn't go East Coast Buds. He's like, no. It's only in California. And I'm going, stop lying to your family, dude.
What do you do?
But it's just, yeah. But yeah, you're right, man. It's all sniper and this, that. And so sniper, it's like, show me your
What do you
relatives.
do with these people when you run across them? Do you call them out? Or
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess it depends on what mental state that I'm in. We've had some fun. We've had some fun along the years with some folks. Especially we had one I say poor kid, but he did it to himself. That was a parachute rigger. Went back. He came from a small town in Georgia, and he was telling people that he was a SEAL, and
God.
and it turns out that he was yakking and running his mouth at a establishment where the sister of a guy that was in my platoon, that's where she worked. And she called up my boy and said,
Oh, boy.
hey, this guy's running his mouth a whole lot. Can you check him out? And they're like, sure, no problem. So go to the database. Turns out he's incoming to SEAL Team 10 as a parachute rigger. So we set up a nice little welcome
hell
for him.
yeah.
See, I love that. I love it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
and then guys out in town, sometimes it's just not worth it. Like I have one guy that he was actually a sergeant major of an airborne, an acting airborne Army airborne unit. Might have been 82nd, right? So I guess it's 82nd, 101st, but he was 82nd. So acting sergeant major, right? Battalion sergeant major. His dad was lying and saying he was a SEAL, and I caught him. And I didn't tell him because I didn't have the heart to. Because the Sergeant Major was so awesome. He was such a good dude, right? And he loved his dad so much. And I'm just like, I don't have the heart. And I didn't get the chance to like pull the dad aside and be like, hey man, you need to tell your kid the truth. Because he was talking all kinds of singing praises of his dad was a SEAL and this, that, and the other. And it was just one little series of questions led right down the trail. And after about 3 questions, I knew it was a fake. Well, I knew it was a fake, honestly, by looking at him, because no SEAL wears I was on the USS Neverdock hat, whatever boat they were on. He was wearing that hat. And I'm going, something ain't adding up. So, you throw the Bud's class number at him, this, that, and the other, and I'm doing the mental calculations and going, but like I said, I didn't have the heart. Other guys, it's straight call out. But most of the time, a lot of times, man, sometimes I don't want to even say anything. I'm just like, you're not even worth my time.
Tell me, what about that? What about that guy? That's the guy who calls out like
Shipley.
on
John
YouTube?
Shipley?
Yeah, do you know
Don
him?
Yeah, so I don't know Don, but DJ Shipley, his kid, who's at GBRS right now, and he goes around does talking and whatnot. I knew him because we were in the same SEAL troop. I was coming into SEAL Team 10 to one troop just as he was leaving. But when he went to Red Squadron, after he was already there, he came back and helped us through some CQC stuff and told us some of the damn neck things or whatever, and then do that. So I knew DJ. I didn't know his dad though. But I think that his dad's stuff is hilarious. I mean, it's awesome too.
It's very
Hey,
funny.
built
It is.
he's built a fantastic database, man.
Yeah.
But and good on him. I mean, he's doing great. He's doing great work. And it's just hilarious to watch. It's sad because it actually
Yeah.
happens, but the way that he does
Fucking
everything,
weird that happens.
he's doing it right.
It's weird
Huh?
that it happens.
But is it though?
No.
I mean,
people, I understand where you're going with this, Tom. Yeah.
yeah.
I couldn't
Huh?
lie about something like that. And
Well, if you notice, most of these people that are lying aren't in SEAL communities.
yeah.
They're not. I mean, I remember I saw one guy that got called out. He was a pastor of some church up north somewhere, and he was telling everybody that he was. And somebody finally, called him out, and he didn't. He wasn't. Because it's like you don't understand. It's like, look, man. Not only can the easy button is to get a hold of Don Shipley, but like for guys in the teams, dude, we all have the number to the quarter deck at Buds. Like it has the database right there, and we say, "Hey, check on this guy." Da 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 da. And whatever boot is sitting there at the deal, he types in the name, yes, clap, da da da, or nope, not there, and we know. Like you can't get if you meet a SEAL, a real one, or you're hanging out with one, and you find somebody that's faking it. Like, sorry, man, it's just we got these databases for a reason. I wish they had them for everybody, but I mean that's what everyone wants to say.
I had a friend. He gave me a shirt. He did one of the frog marathons. It's got a trident on it. He gave it to me. I'm not even gonna wear that because I don't rate it. I'm not gonna wear. I was a Marine, machine gunner. That's it. That's all I was. 3-8 India. That's all it was. I wasn't any more, any less. 2005, I had a fucked up deployment. I got drunk. I got battalion level NJP'd. I got shot at, and Tommy, you probably remember this. Remember a guy hiding behind a telephone pole, getting shot at and mortared from the front, shot at from the side?
I had heard that. That came alongside the lieutenant that actually shot at himself through a mirror. Should I say the name?
You can't go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Who is it?
I'm not gonna say it.
No.
But he was a platoon commander. That actually.
Oh, I think I know. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So dude's walking by. Yeah, because there's a lot of Al Qaeda guys over there wearing nods. Yeah. They walk past a dude. Doesn't even use his rifle. Pulls his pistol. Dumps an entire mag into a house. Well, Marines see boss man shooting. What are they gonna do? Everybody go to guns. And they did that. So the platoon sergeant and one of the squad leaders went in and they cleared out the house, and they went and they noticed some broken glass, like right where see what LT was shooting at, right? And they looked down, and that broken glass was a mirror. And then they looked out and they go, "Hey, sir, which window did you shoot out?" And he's like, "This one." And they both immediately looked at each other and went, "Dude saw his reflection."
Well, I mean, I'd never been shot at. February 14th, 2005. Hid behind, I mean, Stockton's yelling at me. He's like, "Get over by the berm." And I'm like deer in headlight with a saw. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? And I get up, like, I'm like that skinny, and I'm like, telephone pole and me, and like my ass is hanging out.
That's a bold move. That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Dude, it was bold. I got my ass handed to me when we got home that night.
You're lucky you had one left to be had.
I should have
didn't get killed.
I should have died. Actually, I should have died like 3 times in Fallujah. I was a soup sandwich that first deployment. I didn't know what was going on. Sergeant Herrera made me a better Marine for Ramadi, and that motherfucker stayed in for 15 years with the fucking stay guys, and now he's a photographer at Jacksonville. You need to go see him, man. You need to go see Herrera.
Good on him. That's great. But I mean, but see, now but that's the thing too is you can back me up, right? And I've had other vets and whatnot, like Green Berets and whatever that have been on their podcast before. But I mean, you can back me up. You absolutely do not know how you're going to act in that situation
No,
until it happens. You can
nope.
talk it. All, how much different is it in real life? How much different?
Fucking night and day, dude. Night and day.
Yeah, whole other ballgame. It's a whole other ballgame. You're going to find out what you're made of.
I mean, things are challenging. And dude, I was 27 years old. Fucking never been shot at. Fucking, I got my college degree. Fucking, oh, I'm gonna join the Marine Corps. I was 26 when I went to boot camp. 27 when I got to 3.8, and I fucking got shot at for the first time in February. I will never forget that day as long as I live. But it made me a better person as of what not to fucking do the next time.
But you know what? If you make it out of situations like that, sometimes those are the best lessons, man.
And it did. It taught me. And you know what? Hagner, on the second deployment, I went in first with a saw. Like we were at Mount Town, and I go in first with a saw. I got my ass fucking chewed. You know what? I never went.
First to die.
The saw never went in first again.
Ever.
Which, by the way,
Ever. And dude, I tell you want to talk about weird transitions, right? Transitioning from the Corps into the teams, right?
Yes.
So I was so used to that, because we're coming down and laying down suppressive fire inside the hallway and this, that, and this, they don't do that. They're carrying light, and they're, it's like you have a machine gun going in only afterwards and planting it somewhere. It's in the car. You're not carrying that in to do CQC with it. It's you going in fast and furious, but like the house clearing stuff going from like the, I'll relate it to like
cross, overhead.
The general Christmas style of, doing the Citadel stuff that we got trained, doing the tape houses and stuff, and then going in and actually doing it in Fallujah. Completely different. Completely. I had to like pretty much dump everything I knew. I had problems starting out, man. Because I was so ingrained in me, because it was like, this is what made us live. It was like, cool, that's what makes you live in that environment, not in this one. So it's sledgehammer versus scalpel,
Right. And you guys
it was
are
different.
the fucking scalpel.
Yeah, whole different. But again, it's like not one person's better than another. It's just a different mission set. You need the scalpel and you need the sledgehammer. Yeah.
Tommy, it's time for you. It's time for your question. Hey, Fleek, is it time for his questions? Sorry, it's running a little late.
I just wanted to get a quick war story first. Could you have like a favorite war story that you just a couple minutes that you could just brief us on?
Favorite.
Oh yeah, okay.
Something like
favorite war story. I've got a bunch. I'll do one just because we're doing the transition from, talking about transitions from Marines to SEALs or whatever, but it was the first gunfight that I got in the teams. And we were in Afghanistan, and we were sitting on top of we had just gone in to do we'll say a key leader engagement into an area, a little village just shy of the border between Ghazni and Uruzgan. And this is southeast Afghanistan. And we'd gone down in, we're in like a bowl. There's mountains all around us, and you can picture a bowl. And then there's a little village that's down in there. And we're visiting the elders and whatnot. And, we've cleared the area. Everything was fine. And it was lessons learned also. It was a good lessons learned point for me. So Marine Corps, right? You have no assets. I mean, you can call for fire with Arty. You may get fixed wing. Maybe, but you ain't in charge of it. But, me being the platoon commander, is like, calling for Arty or whatever, I could do that, but it was few and far between. So in the teams, you've got a JTAC, and it's like, I want stuff to go over there, right? And then they do all their things, stuff checks on station, this, that, and the other, and you've got to be tied in, but you're listening to that, and then you're listening to higher, and then you're also listening to the, inter squad radio or whatever. So anyway, we're on top of the building, and, call of prayer goes off. All the people start coming out. Well, all the people then get into the mosque. And we're like, all right, well, call of prayer, do it 5 times a day. That's a thing. It's whatever. It had been eerily quiet, because we got the ICOMs that you get ICOM chatter going off for, Taliban in the area. And everything went quiet all of a sudden. It's kind of weird. And then everybody got inside the mosque, and we're going, It's just that it's that. Remember when they taught us about 3 block war in Somalia, right? Of the different preparation levels, but when there's no one around and the hair starts standing up on the back of your neck, that's like you need to start really prepping for something. It clicked in a little too late, and I heard this goo, 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 and I go, that sounds kind of like an RPK. And then I look over and there's this tree, probably about maybe 2 foot away from me, and one of the branches falls down. And I went, oh, they're shooting at us. So it's like, hey, that's not friendly, not that RPK would be anyway, but then it's like we start getting down and they're literally plunging fire from like 3 different directions down on us. And I look over and there are these guys, because I'm in the building, these guys cover down on this other one, and it's this Army striker unit that's doing outer cordon work for us. And it's the first time they'd ever like been out ever. They were a completely green unit, right? And I could see the rounds walking up to right where they're at. You know how the machine guns you walk the rounds in? They did the exact same thing. And you see the guys diving out of the way and this, that, and the other. It's like, oh my word, this is whoa, okay. So it's like getting your bearing back. So, I hollered out for my platoon chief to make sure he was okay. He's like, yeah, he's all right. Get the freaking air cover. And I went, oh, right. So called back to battalion and then brought helos in, and they're doing gun runs around the bowl. And suppress the problem. But at the same time, it was like I should have known that when they did that, they were doing that to get all the people around, because chances are we were like right on the border of like no man's land. So they probably got family, and I wasn't tied enough. Again, it's a whole thing of know your area and know your people a lot more so prior to, and understand the culture and how things work. But like the Taliban had family within that area, so they knew they were going to shoot at us, but they didn't want to kill any of their own family. Right? Or a place that's housing them, and for any of their logistics, whether it be guns, drugs, whatever, bikes, could be gas, anything, IED making materials, facilitation, HME, things like that, homemade explosives. So they did that just so they knew where all the people were, and then they could lay down fire on us. And I was like, holy cow. So it was lesson learned for that. It was kind of like a rejock, because it had been since, 2005, so it had been a minute. So that initial knocking the dust off for the very first gunfight was crazy. And then also learning more and understanding more about the capabilities of the helicopters that we had, whether it was the Apaches or the Kiowas that came in, about understanding burn time, fuel time, travel time out, travel time back, if you can actually calculate it. And then the JTAC says, how much time do you guys have on station? And you can actually work your ops around that. And if you're in a hairy situation and you needed them to do gun runs, you can actually wait until you really need them, call them in, do the gun runs, and then you have an escort back. I've got aerial escort, and now I know I pretty much have a safe pedal to the metal shot all the way back to wherever it is I'm going, as long as they didn't plant an IED, which, come to find out, that was another little thing that we had a lot to deal with, the pressure plate IEDs out there. But having that air cover was such a dadgum comfort, because we also found out that if the helos came in and attack helicopters only, they knew the difference. Attack helicopters come in, they like roaches turn the lights on, they're gone. An 810 Warthog could come in, they'll stay out there. They'll still fire at you. They're not scared of them, right? Cargo helicopters, this CH-47s come in, they're probably going to shoot at it. They know the difference. So
Steel rain.
Yeah, so it's interesting understanding the terrain and navigating that, and then the people. But there were a lot of lessons learned with that first encounter in Afghanistan, and we snapped in quick, man, because it was like the hot wash debrief after that was like, all right, boys, we got to freaking lock in, and here's what we're gonna do, because you're constantly training on the fob too, because you got to keep the axe sharp, so it's all right. What did we do wrong? Where we screw up, what can we do better? All right, let's go out and get it next time. And then we're out the next day and going again.
Awesome. Thank you.
Jesus.
Hey, Andrew.
Pick a number between 1 and 10, sir.
7.
He picked it. I didn't
well,
say it. He picked it. Dude, everybody that we have had on this show, it's either 3 or 7. And by the way, that's my lucky number. But I like you, Tommy. I always have. And we're going to do this question because we've done it a million times, but I want to hear this answer.
Well, give me something new then. Give me something nobody's ever done.
You want something? Okay. All
Well,
right.
I'll do both. I don't care. It's your show, bro. I'll do 7 or I'll do anything. Whatever.
Okay. All right. Okay. No. We haven't.
Give it to you.
Let's see. No, that one. Okay. What lessons did you learn in the military that you believe everyone should apply to their daily lives? That's number 5.
Strength, resilience, and humility.
Jesus. He's
Yeah, you
just
didn't
right
think
off the
about
bat.
it.
No,
Freaking steal.
that's good. I mean, yeah, you got to be humble. You got to have strength, and you got to be Semper Gumby.
That's it. One way or the other, buddy.
Hey, I'm going to give you a Bravo Zulu for that, Tommy.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate you.
Hey, Fleet, I just want to say thank you, Tommy. It's really good seeing you again, and I'm definitely going to see you in Virginia
Sure, man.
come August.
Yeah.
Fleet, you got anything else for him?
No, I'm good. I just want to say, after I hit the stop button, just stick around for a second so we make sure that everything's downloaded correctly. And thank you for joining us, man. It's been a pleasure.
We need to send Tommy to a game.
Yeah.
We need to send him to a game.
We're always
Detroit
doing
Lions.
something, man.
All right, dude, I'll take you to a Preds game, man.
I appreciate it,
Come
man.
to Tennessee, that's it. We're going
That's
to a
it.
Preds game.
Game on. Well, everybody out there wants to get a hold of me. You know what I do. Speaking's the main gig, but anything else, hey, www.divinesavagery.com. Hit me up on Instagram at raise.your.horn or LinkedIn, Tommy Richardson. And it's game on, man. Let's do some work. Let's do some good stuff for folks.
Love you, dude, man. Thank you.
Right,
Text with
likewise.
all his contacts so I can throw it in the show notes. That way everybody has it right there.
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Until next Sunday. Peace.
See you guys. Thank you.